Hey, everybody. This is Tony for my take on negotiations on November 6th. This was a complicated day, and I'm going to do my best to accurately tell you what's been going on. Um, we had several conversations today, both in caucus and on the main table regarding financials. At the end of last week, I think I told you that we got their proposal on healthcare. And today we gave our rebuttal to their healthcare proposal. So essentially, they want us to increase our healthcare contribution to what the groups had sort of agreed upon um, in the summer. And when I say agreed upon, it wasn't a tentative agreement, but that particular section I actually think was crafted as a concession by the chapter, and they agreed, and we voted it down during the ratification vote over the summer because it was tied, if you remember, to the RIF list. And so, we didn't do any concessions because we weren't able to get them decoupled between RIF list and the financial concessions. So anyway, that's just the short kind of historical piece. So we're going back. They want us to increase our contribution into healthcare. And there's some specifics that once we put both of these up online, you'll be able to see. But that's essentially what it is. I'm looking at all of my screens because I have so much information on this. We then gave them, like I said, a rebuttal to this, and our rebuttal to this was given to them today, and it had essentially four points to it. One was the healthcare concessions, and what we're proposing is that after the 1 year period, it snaps back. Given that this would mean we have to ratify two financial proposals, one for healthcare and one as part of the whole package that deals with wages and all the other articles, we find this to be a fairly difficult decision on the part of the chapter, and a concession to go ahead and break this up between a 1 year proposal for healthcare and then a whole CBA to ratify. So in order to help us feel as though, okay, we're going to make this concession, but we need some things in return, what we're asking is, number one, for the snapback, so that we will go back to increased share once the year is over. Number two, we are asking for severance pay for the RIF list, or at least some sort of, I wouldn't even call it that, some sort of financial benefit to the RIF list and some sort of payment for them. We're also asking for tuition benefits for the RIF faculty. And then finally, even though we'd probably do it at an increased out-of-pocket cost for the retiree, we're asking to extend for at least a year the retiree dependent health insurance. So those were our kind of four main things that we said, okay, we would be willing to at least bring it to the EC and at least bring it to our group to increase our healthcare wages or healthcare contributions if you did these other things. Okay, so we went into negotiations, we brought that, we covered that, and then we caucused. And once we came back after a pretty lengthy caucus, which I just have to say, I'm no longer saying that word. That's it, it's out. So after we had our little breakout session, our private breakout session, we came back and they informed us that they could not respond to our rebuttal because they are consulting with the Attorney General to determine whether or not they're even legally permitted to give some sort of payment to a group of individuals, our RIF faculty, who are no longer part of the collective bargaining unit. This was definitely a curveball to us. It kind of halted things. We have very strong feelings about fighting for the RIF list. And I guess until we find out whether there are some legal prohibitions to doing that, we're kind of stuck now. So we kind of hit a stalemate on that. So hopefully we'll know early next week, and I'll keep you updated on that. But until then, we're going to keep the specific proposals offline because we've not made our actual proposal yet. We've only made a rebuttal to theirs. And until we find out what the AG says, we don't know whether this rebuttal even makes sense. Beyond that, we also we got their wages proposal today. And their wages proposal, in a nutshell, is also going back to the summer proposal that we didn't ratify, where we increase or decrease rather our wages by a certain percentage, depending on what your wage bracket is. And in addition to that, they want us to keep it stable, so no raises for the duration of the contract. So a 1-year increase. And then a 1 year from the day of ratification of the contract, and then for the remainder of the contract, no increases. Let me say that again: a 1-year decrease in what we're being paid, and then for the remainder of the contract, nothing else. We don't snap back. We just, all right, third time's a charm. They want us to decrease. This is why you should not do this on Friday afternoons. Bear with me. They want us to get paid less. Look over what we did not sign into ratification in the summer. That's how much of a pay cut they want us to take. After the year, it'll snap back to what we're being paid now, but they don't want to give us any raises whatsoever, including cost of living. In addition to that, if a non-bargaining unit at the university actually continues to take wage concessions, they want us to continue to take wage concessions. So I didn't really understand this at first, but essentially it's saying we're going to do what people who aren't represented by a union are doing. And if they continue with concessions, we should continue with concessions, which I don't know about you, but to me seems crazy since we are part of a collective bargaining group. So we have not even had time to think about that or have any kind of rebuttal. But I imagine we will have lots and lots of discussion about that as well. There were a couple of other things discussed in terms of our non-discrimination clause that's in Article 7. We have some language stuff there and a couple of other articles that I'm sure Rich will update you when he gives you his status report or his kind of weekly report on negotiations. So all this fumbling to say, it was a crazy day, kind of. We're meeting again at 4:00 to prepare for mediation, which is starting on Monday. So typically mediation is a little bit further down in the process, but we had to get it scheduled a little bit earlier for kind of scheduling stuff, and we both agreed to this particular mediator. So we're going to have a mediation session on Monday. Those are prohibited to being disclosed. So I'll not be sharing specifics of that meeting. I don't even know if I'll do a Tony's Take that day at all. I'll kind of see what I'm allowed to say and what I'm not. But essentially, this is how today went. I'm sorry for all the fumbling. I'm tired. It's Friday afternoon. I'm going to try to take a break for 6 hours tonight after my 4:00 meeting. I hope you guys have a great weekend planned. It's supposed to be nice. Get outside. Please stay socially distanced, and we will talk super soon.